Welcome to the channel, Time with God Daily. So, I'd really love to hear from you. Did anything about what people were eating 4,000 to 2,000 years ago surprise you or make you think? Seriously, drop a comment below and let me know. My absolute hope is that all this research we've shared, just helps grow your thankfulness to Christ even more. It's truly all for His glory. Food was never just nourishment in the biblical world. It was memory, survival, power, obedience, and hope carried from one generation to the next, changing as the people changed, yet always tied to the land beneath their feet and the God they believed provided it. In Egypt, the Israelites ate as slaves, but they ate consistently. Their meals reflected the rhythm of the Nile, a river that flooded predictably and turned dust into abundance. Bread made from emmer wheat and barley filled their days, coarse and dense, baked in simple ovens or over open fires. Beer, thick and low in alcohol, was consumed daily, not for pleasure, but for calories and safety. Vegetables dominated their diet: onions, leeks, garlic, cucumbers, and melons, foods that grew easily in irrigated soil and sustained working bodies under the sun. Fish was their most common protein, pulled from the Nile, dried or salted. It was cheap and accessible even to the lowest class. Meat was rare, reserved for feasts or the wealthy. Livestock represented value, not convenience. To eat meat casually was unthinkable for slaves whose survival depended on endurance, not indulgence. This Egyptian diet became embedded in memory. Years later, in the wilderness, the people would recall these foods with longing, not because they were luxurious, but because they were familiar. Hunger sharpens memory, and suffering idealizes the past. When the Exodus came, food changed abruptly. There were no fields, no rivers, no markets. What the people carried out of Egypt lasted only weeks. The wilderness stripped them of routine and forced dependence. Hunger followed quickly, and with it fear. Manna appeared as something entirely new, not planted, not harvested, not stored. It arrived daily, small and delicate, forcing the people to gather just enough. Ground, baked, or boiled, it became their bread. It tasted pleasant, but it was repetitive. Its purpose was not variety, but trust. Quail arrived in waves, carried by seasonal winds. Exhausted birds fell within reach, providing protein in bursts rather than abundance. Meat became a reminder of desire rather than a staple. Milk and cheese from livestock supplemented the diet, but animals were preserved carefully, slaughtered only when necessary or commanded. Food in the wilderness was theological. Every meal reinforced dependence. Every missed gathering punished greed. The people learned that survival did not come from planning alone, but obedience. As Israel approached Canaan, food shifted again. The land they entered was agricultural, shaped by rainfall rather than rivers. Grain fields rolled across hills, vineyards climbed terraces, and olive trees twisted patiently through decades. This was not instant abundance. It required planting, waiting, harvesting. Grain became central once more. Wheat and barley returned to the table, now grown by Israelite hands. Bread regained its place as daily sustenance. Lentils, chickpeas, and beans filled pots with thick stews. Olive oil became essential, providing fat, flavor, and preservation. Fruit defined seasons. Figs, dates, grapes, and pomegranates marked the calendar. Honey, usually date syrup, sweetened food, and symbolized abundance. Milk flowed not in rivers, but through herds that grazed carefully managed land. Meat remained occasional. Sheep and goats were eaten during festivals, sacrifices, or celebrations. Daily meals stayed simple. Even kings did not eat extravagantly every day. As Israel settled, food reinforced identity. Dietary laws separated them from surrounding nations. What they ate, how they prepared it, and when they consumed it became acts of faith. Food was no longer just survival, it was covenant. During the monarchy, trade expanded. Solomon's reign brought speeches, oils, and luxury goods into elite circles. Yet most people still ate bread, oil, and legumes. Inequality grew, and prophets often condemned excess, while the poor struggled to eat enough. When exile came, food fractured identity again. In Babylon, Israel ate foreign bread, cooked with foreign oils, surrounded by unfamiliar markets. Some clung to dietary boundaries fiercely, refusing foods that violated covenant. Food became resistance. Upon return from exile, simplicity returned. The rebuilt community is focused on survival and faithfulness. Meals were modest, repetitive, and shaped by limited resources. Yet food retained deep meaning. connecting present hardship to ancestral promise. By the time of the Second Temple period, Judea had stabilized agriculturally. Fields were cultivated carefully. Olive presses dotted hillsides. Fishing expanded along the Sea of Galilee. Markets re-emerged, though taxation under foreign rule drained resources. By the time Jesus was born, most people lived as peasants. They ate what the land produced and what they could afford after taxes. Bread dominated every table, baked daily, coarse and filling. Wheat bread was preferred, but barley bread was common among the poor. Olive oil flavored nearly everything. Bread was dipped into it, vegetables cooked in it, lamps fueled by it. It was wealth in liquid form. Fish became the most common protein. Fresh near the sea, dried or salted inland. Fish sustained families. Sardines and tilapia filled nets and baskets. This was everyday food, not luxury. Legumes remained essential. Lentil stews simmered slowly, stretching meals and feeding many mouths. Beans and chickpeas filled gaps when grain ran low. Fruit continued to shape seasons. Figs and dates were eaten fresh or dried. Grapes became raisins or wine. Wine was diluted and consumed daily, safer than water and culturally normal. Meat remained rare. Lamb appeared at Passover. Goat or beef at celebrations. Most families ate meat only a few times a year. This scarcity made feasts meaningful and symbolic. When Jesus ate with his disciples, these were the foods on the table: bread torn by hand, fish shared, wine passed carefully. Meals were communal, slow, and relational. When he fed crowds, he used what people already carried: bread and fish. Nothing extravagant. The miracle was not luxury, but multiplication. When he spoke of daily bread, everyone understood. Bread was survival. To lack it was fear. To receive it daily was trust. Food carried spiritual weight because it carried daily life. From Egypt to the wilderness, from conquest to exile, from poverty to hope, what people ate reflected where they were and who they trusted. Across centuries, the diet shifted with geography and power, but simplicity remained constant. The biblical world was not rich in variety, but rich in meaning. Every meal told a story of dependence on land, on community, on God. By Jesus' time, food had become the language of teaching. Seeds, bread, wine, fish, harvest. These were not metaphors chosen at random. They were the texture of life. From the Nile's abundance to desert reliance, from Canaan's harvest to Roman taxation, food traced Israel's journey, not as luxury, but as daily testimony. And in that continuity lies the deeper truth. God met his people where they ate. At the table, in hunger, in provision, and in hope. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe to Time with God Daily. Thank you.